Good day and welcome to our daily news roundup on Atlantic TV. I am Michael Gubadio. Here are our top stories. Shettima back in Abuja after United Nations General Assembly and Germany talks. Niger State sounds alarm as dam water releases sparks flood threat. Court throws out suits against Tinubu on Rivers emergency rule. And on the foreign scene, Israel blocks Gaza flotilla moves to deport activists. And talking sport, Osimhen hails Galatasaray as world best after stunning Liverpool defeat. Now the news in full. Vice President Kashi Shettima is back in Abuja after representing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the 80th United Nations General Assembly in New York and rounding off high-level meeting in Germany. In New York, Shettima delivered President Tinubu's address calling for sweeping United Nations reforms and African sovereignty over its $700 billion mine or mineral wealth. He also held strategic talks with the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, securing support for Nigeria's push for a permanent seat on the Security Council. The Vice President further engaged partners like the UK government and the Gates Foundations while pitching Nigeria's $200 billion energy transition plan to investors. Before heading to Germany, Shettima assured Nigerians in diaspora of stronger ties with the Tinubu administration policies and reforms. A new report has revealed that the Nigerian health system is functioning at just 45% of its capacity, far below the African regional average of 56%. The findings published by the African Health Observatory Platform on Health System and Policies shows that despite decades of reforms, poor infrastructure, underinvestment, and heavy reliance on out-of-pocket spending have left millions without quality health care. It also notes that 80% of health infrastructure is dysfunctional, costing nation about $1 billion annually in medical tourism. With only 1 in 10 Nigerians covered by health insurance and private providers delivering 70% of all services, experts warn that universal health coverage by 2030 remains a distant dream. The Niger State government has issued an urgent warning to residents along the River Niger and the River Kaduna to relocate immediately as water release from the major dams threatens devastating flood. The State Emergency Management Agency says Kanji, Shiroro, Zanguru, and Jaba dams are discharging thousands of gallons of water per minute, already washing away homes, farms, and bridges in several local government areas. Loss of life has also been reported with Mukwa, Lave, Lipa, and Tangoro among the worst hits. Authorities warn the situation could worsen as Nimet forecasts violent windstorm towards the end of the rainy season. Residents are urged to move to safer ground, while stakeholders and traditional rulers are called upon to help spread the safety advisory. The warning comes just months after flooding in Mukwa claimed more than 200 lives and displaced hundreds. The Federal High Court in Abuja has dismissed a suit filed against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu over the emergency rule declared in Rivers State early this year. Justice James Omotosho ruled that the plaintiff lacked the legal standing to challenge the March 18 declaration, which suspended Governor Simi Fubara, his deputy, and the State Assembly for 6 months. President Tinubu has appointed a sole administrator to oversee the state during that period, citing threats of breakdown of law and order. The judge described the case as frivolous, noting that none of the plaintiffs suffered direct injury or had the mandate to sue on behalf of the River people. The ruling comes weeks after President Tinubu formally ended the emergency rule in River, even as over 40 related lawsuits, including one from the PDP at the Supreme Court, remains pending. Still talking politics, the African Development Congress has strongly cautioned against proposed amendment to the Petroleum Industry Act and the planned sale of equity in the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. Speaking in Abuja at the party's 65th Independence Day briefing, ADC's National Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi warned that transferring NNPC assets into private hands will strip Nigeria of energy sovereignty, weakens the abilities to stabilize fuel supply, and endanger millions of jobs. The party aligned with labor unions, NUPENG and Pegasin, who have earlier rejected the move in a letter to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The ADC called on civil society, the National Assembly, labor unions, and young Nigerians to resist what it described as a dangerous precedent that could hand over the nation's wealth to politically connected private interest. Well, we need to go on a break now, but more news across Nigeria, as well as business, foreign, and sports. Join us again.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love. It is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make her a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Welcome back. Now the rest of the news. The federal government says recent divestment by international oil companies has added 200,000 barrels per day to Nigeria's crude output and unlocked about $5.5 billion United States dollars in new investments. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Senator Hanneke Lupuri, disclosed these while delivering President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's message at the Africans Energy Week in Cape Town. He described the divestment as transfer of confidence, capability, and ownership, especially stressing that Nigeria is open for business under a transparent and investor-friendly framework. The minister also highlighted reforms under the Petroleum Industry Act, raising drilling activity, and the Project 1 Million Barrels initiative, saying Nigeria is positioning itself as Africa's leading energy hub. The call for accountability in Nigeria's long-running fuel subsidy scam is growing louder. Public pressure is mounting on the federal government to unmask those accused of siphoning trillions of naira meant for subsidy payment. The debate reignited last week after billionaire businessman Femi Otedola alleged that over 2 trillion naira was looted under former President Goodluck Jonathan's administration. His claims have reopened old wounds and sparked nationwide outrage. Despite President Bola Ahmed Tinubu scrapping fuel subsidies in 2023 and labeling the system as a drain on national finance, his government has yet to launch a probe or publish the list of those involved. Critics say shielding the names of subsidy looters undermines the fight against corruption and weakens public trust. Now, straight to the foreign scene. Israel says it will deport dozens of pro-Palestine activists from intercepting a flotilla attempting to break its naval blockade of Gaza. The convoy, made up of about 45 vessels, had set sail last month with politicians, campaigners, and aid workers on board, including Swedish activist Greta Thunberg. According to officials, 39 boats have already been diverted to the Israel port of Ashdod, with no violence reported. The Israeli Navy confirmed none of the ships breached the blockade, insisting the activists will be deported to Europe. Organizers, however, branded the interception illegal and accused Israel of maritime intimidation. Hamas has also condemned the move, calling it piracy and terrorism at sea. Spain and Italy has earlier warned their citizens on board that they will not be allowed past Israel's exclusion zone. Meanwhile, the flotilla organizers say they remain committed to delivering aid to Gaza, despite what they describe as harassment by Israeli forces. Still on the foreign scene, a suspected terror incident shook Manchester Thursday morning as 4 people were injured outside the synagogues in Cripsale. Police confirmed the suspect was shot after a car ramming and stabbing spree. The attack happened just after 9:30 a.m. at the Hatton Park Hebrew Congregational Synagogue on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar. Greater Manchester Police quickly declared a major incident, firing shots around 9:39 a.m. to neutralize the assailant. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said he was applauded, cutting short his EU trip to return home, while Mayor Andy Bromham accused residents, or rather assured residents, that the immediate threat had been contained. Emergency service remain on the ground as investigators continue. Officials has urged the public not to speculate, but the Jewish community have been left deeply shaken by the timing and nature of the attack. Away from that now to sport, Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen has branded Galatasaray the best team in the world after firing the Turkish champions to a shock 1-0 win over Liverpool in the UEFA Champions League. True highlights of the match: Osimhen's penalty, Liverpool last push, and Rams Park's electric atmosphere. Osimhen's 16th-minute penalty proved decisive on a defeating night in Istanbul. Liverpool, who had the 89th-minute penalty overturned by VAR, slumped to their second straight defeat under new boss and Scott. The goal marked Osimhen's 10th strike in the Champions League proper, making him the first Nigerian to hit double figures in the competition history. Speaking after the game, Osimhen praised his teammates and fans, assisting Galatasaray unity and belief helped them overcome one of Europe's biggest clubs. He also admitted extra focus was needed against Alisson, recalling how the Liverpool keeper once denied him from the spot while at Napoli. Galatasaray victory, only their second in 19 Champions League matches, come in their 120th anniversary year, a symbolic win as they push for further glory both at home and also in Europe. Osimhen says the triumph is just the beginning as Galatasaray look in a build-up momentum towards the knockout stages. And still talking sport, Manchester United has sealed a deal for Colombia teenage sensation Christine Orozco. The 17-year-old defensive midfielder from Fortaleza CEIF will officially join the Red Devils in the summer of 2026 when he turns 18. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano confirmed that the $1 million move on Thursday, saying United lawyers have signed off on all contracts with the deal brokered by Chief Scott Gerardo Guzman and Toniaso. Orozco, captain of Colombia under-17 national team, led his side to South American Championship final last year and is widely regarded as one of the brightest young prospects in South America. With that very cheering news, we'll come to the end of the news on Atlantic TV. For more of your news, you need to reach us on our different social media platforms, and we'll definitely get it on board. I still remain Michael Gobadia. God bless you. Have a great weekend.